Ksenia was last seen on October 10th at 7 p.m. sharp in Uralmash. There she had an appointment with a potential buyer. The girl wanted to sell her Audi. No one has seen Ksenia or her car since then. Hello, this is Defunct City. Subscribe to our channel. We go on. The girl's phone was not available. Ksenia's friend Olga told us why the young mother went alone to the buyer. It turned out that it was not a buyer, but a customer. Ksenia received a call from a girl who was supposedly pregnant and who did not have a car to come up. Ksenia always has a soft spot for everyone. Apparently, she got into the situation and drove up, said Olga. She was lured away. She is kind and sympathetic. So she went. Nobody knows where and to whom. I hope that soon I will see her and scold her. Ksenia has a 9-year-old daughter in Uralski. She lives with her grandmother. Her childhood friends and acquaintances came to Yekaterinburg today to help in the search. Investigators opened a criminal case under the article murder, and volunteers and relatives of Ksenia do not lose hope and continue their search. Friends of the missing did not even consider the version that Ksenia could go for a walk. She, according to them, is not like that at all. She is very responsive. She is a kind, caring, and generally a wonderful, open, positive person. She has a lot of good acquaintances, but there are 4 of us: Ksenia, Natalia, and Ekaterina. We have a common chat on YouTube. We're literally in touch. Even together we decide what to wear, said Olga. When we found out that in the morning she did not go to work, we started to raise the alarm and called the police. And the thought did not arise that she went out. We definitely knew that something was wrong. She had earned money for the car, which Ksenia wanted to sell for $780,000. She was selling herself in order to pay the mortgage and live together with her 9-year-old daughter in a new apartment in Verkhny Pishma. For now, Ksenia and her daughter lived separately. The girl lives with Ksenia's parents in Uralski. According to Olga, Ksenia has 2 higher educations, and she works as a sales manager in a good company. She was soon to go on a business trip to Italy. She was recently given a visa to Italy for a year. It was a work trip. She had so many plans, Xenia's friend told me. Lisa alert volunteers were taken off the search for Xenia because the search could be linked to criminality. The breakthrough search team also suspended the search overnight, but will continue to look for Xenia, who went missing 4 days ago, on the afternoon of October 14th. Information that the Audi 5 with which 27-year-old Ksenia Kargina disappeared was found at resellers in Chelyabinsk was confirmed by talking to one of the car resellers, and he told why the car was quietly sold without a mistress and who sold it. According to our reader, Roma came to the deal with a girl who looked a lot like Xenia. They had her passport, license, and all the documents for the car. In addition to having her license, they also had her passport with them, and there was a girl on the deal who looked like the owner of the car. So, whoever bought it in Chelyabinsk didn't think anything about criminal. For him it was an ordinary day's work, said the reader. The fact that it was not the owner, he realized only when the information about the disappearance appeared in the evening. The whole situation unfolded before our eyes, and our colleague, who had bought the car from the gypsies, immediately went to the police. Where? I don't know. But himself from Chelyabinsk most likely went to the nearest department. The Audi Q5 cars were sold to resellers for 500,000 yen. Information in our group about the disappearance appeared at 20:30 yesterday. Immediately identified the car, because it was on sale in the morning, the reader added. The colleague immediately wrote that the gypsies came with a girl who looks like the owner, and they had a passport, license, and all the documents for the car. The colleague bought it back for 500,000. The situation is very high profile, so there was an active discussion in the group. No one cares about the car. The main thing is to find the girl. The gypsy trail in the case of the missing Xenia appeared for 2 reasons. First, the dealers said that the Audi 5 Xenia, with which she disappeared, was sold to them by the gypsies. Secondly, near the place where the girl's phone signal disappeared and where the search began on October 12th. There was a Roma tabor, which immediately after Xenia's disappearance promptly withdrew from there. The Roma who stood with their tabor on the orphanage road, who may have been involved in Xenia's disappearance, came from Stavropol territory, according to criminology expert Tanil Sarjev. According to him, this is a community of Roma, which is called Power. It is distinguished by the fact that they still lead a nomadic lifestyle. They are such touring travelers. They travel around the country and mine metal. My acquaintances have a dacha in the Seven Springs area. This summer they came there in a car with Stavropol license plates and offered to buy up metal. They don't talk to the local Roma diaspora. I asked local Roma about them. They told me if I met them, I had to call the police right away. They can kill or rob, said Daniel Sarjev. When I talked to one of the Roma who lived with the tabor, he confirmed that they came from Stavropol territory and told me what they were doing in Yekaterinburg and why they left. We dealt with scrap metal, bought it up, worked, helped whoever needed help. I had been away for 2 months. It was getting cold. It's warm here in Stavropol Krai, Fedor said. Tabor comes there for the summer season, and then they go home. Their families come here. Maybe 30, maybe 40 people. The right police came and took us away a couple of times. They checked our documents, they counted us, they recorded us all. No one was involved in any criminal activity. Jens Sokol, head of the Roma community in Yekaterinburg, confirmed that he knew of a key settlement near Serovsky Tract. However, he cannot say for sure what ethnic groups live there. There are people, these are Tajiks, who beg. They lead such a disadvantaged nomadic way of life. I heard that they were the ones standing there. I heard the gypsies living in the camp, including in Stavropol territory, also come to us. But speaking of criminality, the authorities are quite peaceful people. Besides, I know for a fact that the local police keep an eye on them. We once talked to the chief of police of the area. He said that local dacha residents had complained about them, but there was never any serious crime there. Sokol considers the fact that the tabor left the site immediately after the high-profile story about Ksenia and Ian's disappearance a mere coincidence. Gypsies are not the kind of people who would kill a man for a car. It doesn't make sense for them to take that risk. They come here every year. They're all under control. The police have them all accounted for. Let the cops sort it out and find the culprits. And so someone was there and walked by without reason or evidence. This is not a conversation. I wouldn't like it to be blown up, so as not to provoke a surge of xenophobia in our society. Volunteers have been combing the woods and roads for 3 days in search of the girl, alive or not. According to the law enforcement officers who conduct the search, now the investigators have several suspects. Among them is not her lover, but there is a certain group which has left a trail in other regions of Russia in a similar scheme. There was a similar story in Novosibirsk. A woman left to look at a new car and disappeared, and a month later her body was found. The searches were given to understand that they had to look for her at the exits. Allegedly the villains wouldn't bother dragging her into the woods and burying her. Most likely, they abandoned her because they acted quickly, told our source in the law enforcement agencies. The 3rd day of searching for the missing Ksenia has ended. Volunteers and police combed the area of Uralmash. As we were informed by the search party breakthrough, no new information as of today. Tomorrow the search may continue. If we get instructions from the police on where to look for Xenia, we'll start the search. That means the search will continue. But volunteers will stop combing random terrain themselves. We will travel to incoming requests and once again pass the terrain in which we've already been, told the search team. Volunteers have few leads today. They combed through the garages. They found holes in some of them, which they also had to search. Nothing useful was found there. Then they came across an area where someone supposedly lived, but no one was there. Then the volunteers found a fresh, excavated spot and all ran to it together. It turned out to be tile and glass. Some readers reported to us that Xenia's phone was turned on today. Investigators are working on it now. There are many versions of where Xenia has disappeared to and where she may be now. But there are three main versions about who the 27-year-old girl could disappear for. The first version, according to which Xenia's disappearance is connected with the gypsy camp on the orphan tract, Chelyabinsk seller, at whom Xenia's car was found the day after she went missing, said that the Audi was sold to him by the gypsies, with a girl who had all the documents in Xenia's passport. The phone signal was last picked up in the same place where the Roma Tabor was standing, which immediately after Xenia's disappearance withdrew from the scene. The second version, according to which Xenia's disappearance is connected to her roommate. On the first day of the search on October 12, Xenia's friend said that recently she had been in contact with a guy whose name none of her acquaintances know. His involvement in the disappearance was considered as there was a possibility that he helped the girl with audio sales. A third theory, according to which Xenia's disappearance was linked to a group that had also been reported in other regions. According to law enforcement officials who are searching for her, investigators now have several suspects. Among them, there is a certain group which left a trail in other regions of Russia by the same schemes. A year later, the murderers were sentenced. The search for 27-year-old Xenia, who went to sell her car and disappeared, is complete. The girl's body was found. The killer, 27-year-old Xenia, showed where he hid her body. The girl was found in Ural Mash near the northern cemetery. It is reported that the killer showed how he hid the murdered. The body was found during the day. He was taken away for forensic medical examination. Two men have now been detained: Maritar Medvedev, Mikhail Fedorovich, and the woman who was with them. Her name is Ekaterina. The criminal case examined several sites of the incident in the sewers. The body of the murdered woman was found in the Ordzhonikidze district of Yekaterinburg. The investigative committee said a complex of examinations, including those to determine the age and the exact cause of death, have been appointed and are being conducted. All three will be charged with, among other things, murder committed by a group of persons and combined with robbery, as well as robbery. The punishment for the most serious crimes is up to life imprisonment. It is known about Merritt that he disappeared from Kopysk on September 9th, and on September 12th his sister went to the police. He disappeared along with the cab car in which Merritt was working. After that, Aganvaliv did not get in touch with his family. According to his sister, he did not even call his wife and children, and he had 3 of them. Mikhail Fyodorovich had previously been convicted of robbery, which he committed together with a friend. According to the materials of the case, in February 2010 in Kopysk, he put a revolver to the victim's head and together with an accomplice demanded to give them a car. The cost of the car was 400,000 yen. The law enforcers detained Fedorovich a couple of days later, and he wrote a confession. In May 2011, the court found his accomplice guilty. Mikhail Fedorovich was sentenced to 7 years in a maximum security penal colony. He served his term in the Caspian penal colony. In 2015, Fedorovich applied for parole, but the court refused him. The man was released in 2017. According to the source, an autopsy revealed that they first tried to strangle the girl, but failed. Then she was stabbed several times, from which Xenia died. Xenia's body was taken in her own car to the northern cemetery and dumped into a well. The source stressed that there were no signs of rape on the body of the victim. Mikhail Fedorovich was sentenced to 20 years in a penal colony. The first 5 years he will be in a maximum security penal colony, and then he will be transferred to a strict regime. Ekaterina Menshikov, in addition to the murder of Ksenia Katorgina, was found guilty of inflicting grievous bodily harm on her 80-year-old grandfather. In total, she was sentenced to 17 years in prison. Marat Akhmatvaliyev was sentenced to 20 years in a strict regime colony. Of these, the first 5 years he must also serve his sentence in a maximum security penal colony. See you on the Defunct City soon.